Hello everyone, this is Infinity Vision and my name is Rehan Nawaz. This is the third lecture on ratio. In previous two lectures, we discussed elementary ideas related to ratio and also discussed some important theorems. We understood them, we also proved them, and we also saw their application. Now, in this lecture, we are going to do the most important aspect of mathematics learning, that is art of problem solving. So we are going to learn this amazing art by solving a lot of problems related to ratio. But before we go further, we must understand what exactly this art of problem solving is. So whenever you encounter any mathematical problem, how should you begin? You should always begin by reading the question properly. Why do you have to read the question properly? So that you can understand the demand of the question. Once you understand the demand of the question, you can extract all the relevant information needed for that problem. So you have all the relevant information and now you understand the demand of the question. Now the art of connecting these two together or stitching them together is called the art of problem solving, and that is what we are going to master by solving a lot of problems related to ratio. So let's get started. So let's begin with our first problem, and we should always begin by reading the problem. So the first problem is find the ratio compounded of. So you need to understand the first keyword here is compounding of ratios. The first part is the ratio 2a is to 3b, which is a simple ratio, and the duplicate. The second thing you should know that what exactly duplicate ratio is, and you have to find the duplicate ratio of this. So this is what you need to do. Whenever someone asks you how to compound two ratios, you just need two ratios. Let's say you have a is to b and the other ratio is x is to y. You just need to multiply their antecedents and you need to multiply their consequents. The new ratio would be the product of antecedents is to the product of consequent. Now let's see what we have in first problem. In first problem, the simple ratio 2a is to 3b can be written as 2a upon 3b. Compounding means we need to multiply them. And duplicate ratio, what exactly is duplicate ratio? When you compound a ratio with itself, which means you multiply the ratio with itself, which means you will need to square the antecedent and you will need to square the consequent. So what will be the square of 9b square? That would be 81b to the power 4. And what will be the square of ab? That would be a square b square. Now let's see what exactly we have, what all we can cancel. So you have a here and you have a square, so it will be cancelled. B into b square will make it b cube, which will cancel it with b. And 3 will cancel 81 by 27, so you will have 54b by a. So you can say the compounded ratio would be 54 b is to a. That would be the answer of first part. Now let's look into the second part. In the second part, you see another important term, that is subduplicate ratio. So you should know what exactly is subduplicate ratio. For finding the subduplicate ratio of a ratio, you just need to find the square root of antecedent and the square root of consequent. So in second part, what you are going to do, you are going to find the square root of 64, that is 8, and the square root of 9, that is 3. I'm sure you know how to find the square root. And the second ratio is 27 is to 56, which can be written as 27 upon 56. You just need to multiply them together. So 3 will cancel 27 by 9 and 8 will cancel 56 by 7. So it would be 9 is to 7. So 9 is to 7 would be the compounded ratio of second part. Now what about the third part? The third part, you see, you have to find the duplicate ratio of 2a is to b is to root 6a square upon b square. So 2a is to b can be written as 4a square upon b square, because that is the duplicate ratio of antecedent. You need to just square them up, which will be divided by root 6a square would become 6a to the power 4 and b to the power 4. And you need to multiply this ratio with this ratio, that is 3ax upon 2by. So 4a square upon b square. When you change your division with multiplication, the denominator becomes numerator and numerator becomes denominator. And you need to multiply with 3ax upon 2by. So see what all can be cancelled out here. So you have a square and you have a, that makes it a cube, and you have a to the power 4. So you can cancel these three and write a down. Now you have b square here, you have b, that is b cube, and here you have b to the power 4. So you can cancel it by b. Now you have 3, so it will be 2, and 2 2s are 4, that will cancel out. So what you got? You got bx in the antecedent and ay in the consequent. That would be your compounded ratio. So it was a pretty easy problem. What you need to do, you just needed to understand what exactly compounding means. You needed what exactly duplicate ratio means. You needed what exactly subduplicate ratio means. And the question would have been a direct question, just a level 1 basic problem. Now let's look at our second problem. The question says if x plus 7 is to twice of x plus 14. So antecedent is x plus 7 and the consequent is twice of x plus 14. Is the duplicate ratio of this? Which means the first ratio x plus 7 upon twice of x plus 14 is equivalent to the duplicate ratio of 5:8. And what is the duplicate ratio of 5:8? That is going to be 25 upon 64, because in duplicate ratio, you just square the antecedent and the consequent. And now you have got this equation, a rational equation, and now you have to find your x. So simple way, what we are going to do, we are just going to do the cross multiplication. So 64 will be multiplied with x plus 7 and 25 would be multiplied with 2 into x plus 14. A very easy equation now, which means 64x plus 64 into 7, and that's make it 50x plus 700, because 14 into 50 is 700. Now I'll take the variable in the left, so 64x minus 50x, and 64 into 7 will be 7 into 60 is 420, and 4 7s are 28. So 420 plus 28 is 448. So what we can do is 700 minus 448. So what you'll get, 14x is equal to, so 700 minus 500 is 200 and 48 is 52. So the answer would be 252, right? Now what we can do, we can just say that x is 252 upon 14. Now 7 2s are, 7 3s are 21, and then, so the final answer would be 18. So the value of x needs to be 18. So a very simple problem. So now let's read our third problem. The problem says you have to find two numbers and they are in the ratio of 7:12, and the greater among them exceeds the lesser by 275. So when I say you have two numbers, I can say the first number as x and the second number as y, and I can say x by y is equivalent to 7/12. So what I can say is my x is equivalent to 7 lambda and y is equivalent to 12 lambda, and definitely I know my y would be greater than x. So what I can say that, okay, y is greater than x, which means 12 lambda minus 7 lambda would be equivalent to 275. I hope you understand how I have converted this language into the form of equation. Now 12 lambda minus 7 lambda will make 5 lambda, which is equivalent to 275. So your lambda would be 275 upon 5, that makes it 55. Now you need to find both numbers. So x is nothing but 7 into lambda, and your lambda is 55. That makes it 385. And your second number y is nothing but 12 lambda, which is 12 into 55, which means that is 660. Now if you notice, they are in the ratio of 7:12, and 660 exceed 385 by 275. Now let's read our fourth problem. What number must be added to each term of this ratio, 5:37, so that it becomes equal to 1:3? So let that number that needs to be added be x, and you are adding this x to both antecedent as well as consequent. So the antecedent would become 5 plus x, and the consequent would become 37 plus x. And you can say, according to the question, this is equivalent to 1 upon 3. That's our new ratio. I'll just cross multiply. 3 will be multiplied with 5 plus x, and 1 would be multiplied with 37 plus x. Now this would become 15 plus 3x is equal to 37 plus x. So I'll transform x to the left. So 3x minus x is 37 minus 15. So 2x becomes equivalent to 22. So x is equivalent to 11. So what exactly you need to add? You need to add 11 to 5:37, and when you add 11 to 5, that would become 16, and when you add 11 to 37, that would become 48. So 16 upon 48 is equivalent to 1 upon 3. Now let's read our fifth problem. If x is to y is 3:4, so you have x is to y, which is equivalent to 3:4, and then you have to find the ratio of 7x minus 4y is to 3x plus y. Now let's say if I know my x upon y is equivalent to 3 upon 4, so can I say my x is 3 lambda and my y is 4 lambda? And when I say my x is 3 lambda and y is 4 lambda, then I can say 7x minus 4y is equivalent to 7 into 3 lambda minus 4 into 4 lambda. What exactly we'll get? We'll get 21 lambda minus 16 lambda, which is my 5 lambda. So this antecedent is going to be equivalent to 5 lambda. And what about 3x plus y? So let's see what exactly we'll have. 3x plus y can be written as 3 into 3 lambda plus, and my y is nothing but 4 lambda. So that makes it 9 lambda plus 4 lambda, that makes it 13 lambda. So my consequent becomes 13 lambda. Now I can definitely say that both have lambda as common. So the final answer would be 5 lambda is to 13 lambda, which is equivalent to 5 is to 13. That is going to be our final answer. An easy problem. Now let's read our sixth problem. The problem says if 15 into 2x square minus y square is equivalent to 7xy, you have to find the ratio of x is to y. So what I see in the first term x square, in the second term I see y square, and in the third term I see xy, and you need to find the value of x by y. Now this gives me a clue that instead of dealing with two variables, I can convert this 2-degree equation into the equation, a quadratic equation of x by y. How we are going to do that? We are going to divide both sides by y square. So let's say if I divide 15 into 2x square minus y square by y square and 7xy by y square. So what you will get? In the left hand side, 2x square upon y square. So 15 into this would become 2x square upon y square. And this will become minus y square upon y square. And in the left hand side, you will get 7xy upon y square. You will notice that this will cancel each other out. You will get 1 here. And this will cancel this square thing. Now x by y can be written as lambda. So you'll get 15 into 2 lambda square minus 1 is equal to 7 lambda. So the quadratic which you'll get is 30 lambda square minus 7 lambda minus 15. So this is your quadratic equation in lambda. And how do you solve quadratic equation? Either you can solve it by factorizing it, or you can solve it by making it a perfect square, or you can solve it by direct formula. I'm sure you know what exactly the formula is. So I can say my lambda is minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac by 2a. That is the root of a quadratic equation of a lambda square plus b lambda plus c, where a is the coefficient of lambda square, b is the coefficient of lambda, and c is the constant. So let's see what exactly we have. Here my b is minus 7, so this would become 7 plus minus. Now the square of minus 7 would be 49 minus 4, and what's my a? A is 30. And what's my c? My c is minus 15. And it needs to be divided by 2a, which is 2 into 30, that is going to be 60. So if you do the calculation, you will get 7 plus minus. Now minus 15 into minus 4 is plus 60, and plus 60 into 30 is plus 1800, and 1800 plus 49 is 1849 divided by 60. Now what is the square root of 1849? Definitely it is bigger than 1600 and it is lesser than 2025. So by simple guess you can say it's 43, or you can do the calculation and find that it is 43. So you'll get 7 plus minus 43 upon 60. Now you will get two answers. The first answer would be 50 upon 60, and the second answer would be 7 minus 43, that is minus 36 upon 60. So what will be your x is to y? It would be either 5 is to 6, or, because this will cancel each other, and 12 3s are 36, so you can write minus 3, 12 5 is 60, so you can say minus 3 is to 5. So these are going to be your two answers. Now let's look at our seventh problem. The problem says if a by b equals c by d equals e by f. So you have a continued ratio and all the three are equal. Prove that 2a to the power 4b square plus 3a square e square minus 5e to the power 4 f upon 2b to the power 6 plus 3b square f square minus 5f to the power 5 is equivalent to a to the power 4 upon b to the power 4. Whenever you see these type of problem, and which we have already discussed in our illustration section also when we were discussing the theorem and its application, what we used to do, we need to say that if you get a continued ratio, we can equal them up with a constant, let's say lambda. So what I can see that a by b is equal to c by d equals to e by f is equivalent to this ratio lambda. Now when I see this ratio, the antecedent has 3 terms and the consequent has 3 terms. So I'll notice the first term and I'll notice the first term of consequent. And if I write 2a to the power 4 b square upon 2b to the power 6. So 2 and 2 cancels, b, this becomes b to the power 4. Now a to the power 4 and b to the power 4 can be written as lambda to the power 4. Now let's see what exactly the second term. The second term is 3a square e square and 3b square f square. So what you can do, 3 will cancel each other. A square upon b square into e square upon f square. What is a upon b? That is lambda. And what is e upon f? That is also lambda. So lambda square into lambda square, that is also equivalent to lambda to the power 4. Now what about the third thing? The third term is minus 5 e to the power 4 f divided by minus 5 f to the power 5. So now you can see minus minus cancels, 5 and 5 cancelled, f will cancel f to the power 4. So you got e to the power 4, f to the power 4, which is nothing but lambda to the power 4, because e by f is equal to lambda. So you see that these three ratios are all equal and they all are equal to lambda 4. So if I add their antecedents and if I add their consequents, the ratio will remain same. So sum of antecedents upon sum of consequent is equivalent to the equal ratios, right? That we understand from the theorem which we did. So what we can do, we can say that, okay, this left hand side is nothing but equivalent to lambda to the power 4 because we just added all the antecedents and all the consequents of equal ratios. Now what we need to see what exactly we have in a right hand side, and when you focus on right hand side you got a to the power 4, b to the power 4, which is nothing but lambda to the power 4. Hence we can say that left hand side is equivalent to right hand side, hence this equation is true. Now let's look at our eighth problem. It says if a by b is equivalent to b by c is equivalent to c by d. You again see equal ratios. And when you see equal ratios, you just put them equal to lambda. But thing you notice here is the consequent of first ratio is the antecedent of second ratio. The consequent of second ratio is the antecedent of third ratio. And you have to say that a by d is equal to this ratio under root of a to the power 5 plus b square c square plus a cube c square upon b to the power 4c plus d to the power 4 plus b square cd square. So here you have the first term as a to the power 5 and second term this. For second term, second term, second term, third term, third term. So degree 5 upon degree 5, degree 4 upon degree 4, degree 5 upon degree 5. Now we should begin with by equaling it with lambda. So you can say your a is nothing but b lambda and your b is nothing but c lambda and your c is nothing but d lambda, right? This is how you are going to say. Now if you look into this ratio, this is square root thing. So whatever inside, I'm just going to analyze that first. So a to the power 5 upon b to the power 4c, which I can simply write it as a to the power 4 upon b to the power 4 into a by c. Now I know a upon b is nothing but lambda, so I'll say lambda to the power 4. And when I look into a by c, you will notice a is equal to b lambda and c is equal to b by lambda. So if I divide both the ratio a by c, I'll get b lambda divided by b by lambda, which would be equivalent to lambda square. So I can say this is equal to lambda square. So this is nothing but lambda to the power 6. What about the second term? The second term is b square c square upon d to the power 4. When I see this, I can simply say that b square upon d square into c square upon d square. Now you know c square upon d square is nothing but lambda square. What about b by d? Now for finding b by d, what I can do, I can see that b is equivalent to c lambda and d is equivalent to c by lambda. So when I divide b by d, I'll get b is to d as lambda square. I'll get b is to d as lambda square because c will cancel out and lambda is to 1 by lambda would become lambda square. And the square of that would become lambda to the power 4, which means this will be also equivalent to lambda to the power 6. What about the third term? That is a cube c square upon b square c d square. So what I can do, I can simply cancel c with c square. I'll get a square upon b square into a upon d into c upon d. Now a square upon b square is nothing but lambda square. Now how we are going to find a upon d? For finding a upon d, what you can do is, you know that a is to c is lambda square. We have already found that. And you also know that C is to D is lambda, which means I can say A is lambda square into C and D is equivalent to C upon lambda. So A is to D would be nothing but lambda cube. I can simply say that. So this will become lambda square into lambda cube, and C by D is nothing but lambda. So you'll get lambda to the power 6. So I can definitely say that these three ratios are equivalent to lambda to the power 6, which means all the three are equivalent ratios. So what I can do, I can add the antecedents together and I can add the consequents together, which will make a to the power 5 plus b square c square plus a cube c square divided by b to the power 4 c plus d to the power 4 plus b square cd square equivalent to lambda to the power 6. And if I am going to find the square root, I'll just put root here. I'll put root here. So in the left hand side, this is my story, and in the right hand side, I got lambda cube, and lambda cube is equivalent to a by d, which we have already proved here, that a by d is equivalent to lambda cube. So I can say that yes, a by d would be equivalent to this square root of a to the power 5 plus b square c square plus a cube c square upon b to the power 4c plus d to the power 4 plus b square cd.